would love you to give a rousing welcome to Fabio Cozza.
Thank you, Alan. It's a real pleasure to be in your company and to be here with everyone tonight. I'm honored to be able to offer some remarks this evening. It might be a little triggering, so if you feel you need to leave the room, just leave a blank check on the table, okay? This way I know it's not personal. So many people have warm childhood memories of summer camp, making friends, vacations, all the good times, right? But tonight, I want to tell you about a young man who had childhood memories that were not so warm. For the sake of this true story, I'm going to call this young man by the fictional name of Lorenzo. Lorenzo's a grown man now, and he's actually here tonight. You're going to meet him in a few minutes. When Lorenzo first came to this country, he found his home in the Bronx to be extremely overwhelming. The busy streets, lots of noise, traffic. It was a stark contrast to his small hometown. Lorenzo was a shy, introverted child who often stayed to himself. Lorenzo would sit on the stoop of his Bronx apartment building, watching ice cream trucks go by, children laughing and playing, and all he ever wanted was to be a part of it, to have a friend. One afternoon, a young man, about the age of 16, who happened to be the son of the family's landlord, bought Lorenzo an ice cream and started to have a conversation with him. As they talked and joked around, Lorenzo finally felt like he had made a friend. Lorenzo began looking forward to seeing his new friend, and the loneliness began to melt away. One day, the landlord's son asked Lorenzo, "Do you want to see my secret cave?" Like any little child, Lorenzo became excited about what could be in this magical secret cave. And so he went to this cave. The cave was actually the sub-basement of the apartment building. It was a dark, dirty place. It smelled of mildew, but it was filled with toys and comic books. Lorenzo will never forget one of the visits to the cave when the landlord's son asked him if he wanted to see a special toy. Naive to what was next, Lorenzo eagerly said, "Yeah." That's when the landlord's son exposed himself to Lorenzo for the first time. Lorenzo's excitement immediately turned to confusion and fear. He made Lorenzo touch him, and over time, Lorenzo was forced to do much, much more. Forced to engage in acts that hurt him mentally, emotionally, and of course, physically. At one point, Lorenzo pleaded with the landlord's son and said, "I don't want to do this anymore, please stop." But the threats became quite clear. "You do what I say, or I'm going to tell everyone that you're a faggot, and they're going to beat you up." Or another threat that really hit him hard: "I'm going to have my father evict your family, and you're going to be homeless, living in the streets." And so, like many child victims of sexual abuse, Lorenzo was forced to keep this very dark secret. Years later, as an adult, Lorenzo was involved in an abusive relationship, which triggered terrible flashbacks from his childhood. Lorenzo would have nightmares about the secret cave where unimaginable things happened. The long-suppressed memories of the dark cave were reemerging and torturing his very soul. It became too much to handle, and he needed a way out. So one unforgivable night, Lorenzo wrote his goodbye letter to the world and swallowed a bottle of pills. Thank God, the suicide attempt failed. During his hospitalization, he realized he needed to get help. Now forced to confront his demons, Lorenzo left his abusive relationship and began the long path towards healing. Earlier, I told you that Lorenzo is with us tonight and that I would introduce him. Well, actually, he's standing in front of you. This is my story. I'm Fabio. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Like Alan Cummins, I also wish there had been a safe horizon when I was a child. Excuse me. It never gets easier, folks, but it does get better. If I had been able to get help as a child, I may not have suffered so much over so many years. It took me many years of therapy, support from loved ones to realize what had happened to me really wasn't my fault. I'm also very proud to tell you that today, I am the Senior Director of Safe Horizons Bronx Child Advocacy Center. Because of what happened to me, I've dedicated my career to helping children who were also abused. This evening, you're going to learn more about all 5 of our Safe Horizon Child Advocacy Centers. We bring together counselors, law enforcement, medical professionals, child protective workers, prosecutors, all under one roof to ensure that child victims and their families receive the most comprehensive care possible, and to ensure that they are met by caring adults who can help them move from crisis to confidence. You also play a part in their healing. Without your necessary funds, life-saving services like Safe Horizons 5 Child Advocacy Centers would not exist. Folks, somewhere in this city tonight, there's a child in a dark cave of their own. I hope that they will make it out of that place, but please know that because of your support, there will always be a way out of darkness to Safe Horizons. So I thank you all for being here and your generous support and your donations. Thank you all.